We dive into the timelines, multiverses, and retcons that make comics so insanely fun and confusing. And today, we're tackling the big one, the blueprint for all superheroes, the Man of Steel himself, Superman. Now, if you've ever tried to pick up a Superman comic, you've probably had that moment of pure confusion. One minute, he's married to Lois. The next, he's single. Sometimes Krypton explodes because of science. Other times, because of some weird villain plot. And oh yeah, he's died. This isn't just a recap. It's a chronological journey, the story of Superman across 80-plus years of comics. So let's roll the clock back, all the way to the Golden Age. The Golden Age, 1938 to 1950s. It all begins with two kids from Cleveland, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who dreamed up the ultimate hero. In Action Comics number 1, 1938, Superman debuts with a bang. And this isn't the polished, near-godlike Superman we think of today. Nope. Early Superman couldn't even fly. He just leaped tall buildings in a single bound. This first version of Kal-El wasn't fighting aliens or giant robots. He was a social crusader, taking on corrupt politicians, warmongers, and street thugs. In his debut, Superman literally breaks into the governor's mansion to save an innocent woman from execution. In another early story, he teaches a wife-beater a lesson by tossing him around like a rag doll. This Superman had no patience for injustice and no problem roughing people up to make a point. As for his origin, in Superman number 1, 1939, baby Kal-El escapes Krypton's destruction. Except Krypton wasn't even called Krypton yet. It was just described as a mysterious planet that died of old age. Instead of being found by Ma and Pa Kent, baby Kal is left at an orphanage, not exactly the heartwarming farm boy upbringing we'd get later. Lois Lane also shows up right away in Action Comics number 1. She's sharp, ambitious, and way out of Clark Kent's league. Clark tries to impress her, usually fails, and then has to save her when she gets kidnapped. Which, to be fair, happens a lot in these early comics. But here's the thing, even though the stories are simple, sometimes silly, they were revolutionary. Superman basically invented the superhero formula, and kids in the late 1930s were hooked. Over time, the mythos expanded. The Kents, added later. Krypton, Kryptonite, even Flight, all came after. By the 1940s, Superman was evolving fast, thanks to the comics and also the Superman radio show, 1940, which introduced big elements like Kryptonite. And villains? Before Lex Luthor became the big bad, Superman's first recurring nemesis was the Ultra-Humanite, a bald mad scientist introduced in Action Comics number 13, 1939. Fun fact, he later transferred his brain into the body of a movie star and eventually a giant albino gorilla. Yes, comics have always been insane. By Action Comics number 23, 1940, we finally meet the villain we all know, Lex Luthor. Back then, he wasn't the slick businessman type. He was a war profiteer trying to plunge nations into conflict, just to take control. And from that moment, Superman had his ultimate human foil. The Silver Age, 1950s to 1970s. By the mid-1950s, comics were changing. The Golden Age had given us the basics, but now, DC wanted to expand Superman's mythology into something huge. And this is where things get delightfully bizarre. First off, Superman finally gets an actual childhood. In More Fun Comics, number 1, 101, 1945, we meet Superboy, a teenage Clark Kent growing up in Smallville. The idea was simple. What if Superman had been a hero since he was a kid? Suddenly, Clark's boyhood adventures became canon, complete with him juggling chores on the Kent farm while secretly saving the day. Superboy's stories introduced some iconic supporting characters. Lana Lang, Clark's childhood crush and the Smallville version of Lois, first appearing in Superboy number 10, 1950. Pete Ross, Clark's best friend, who actually learns his secret but keeps it quiet. And of course, Crypto, the super dog, first seen in Adventure Comics number 210, 1955. Yes, even Superman's dog got powers. This era also gave us Superman's Legion of Substitute Best Friends, aka the Legion of Superheroes, debuting in Adventure Comics number 247, 1958. They were a group of teenage superheroes from the future who idolized Superboy and invited him to join their time-traveling adventures. Imagine being a farm kid from Kansas and suddenly getting to hang out with a whole squad of cool kids from the 30th century. Pretty wild. Krypton gets an upgrade. In the Golden Age, Krypton was barely mentioned, but in the Silver Age, Krypton became a full-on mythos. In Superman number 146, 1961, the planet was reimagined as a high-tech utopia. We got Jor-El, Lara, the Science Council, and even the Phantom Zone, introduced in Adventure Comics number 283, 1961, as the dimension where Krypton dumped all its criminals. And yes, that's where we meet General Zod for the first time. That's part 1 of Superman's entire history. If you want me to drop the second one, comment part 2 with your favorite superhero's name. Then I'll see you in the next one.